I'm actually interviewing Dana Swanson. I like her last name, Swanson. Just like Brock Swanson on Venture Brothers.
Oh, Brock Sampson.
Brock Sampson.
Close enough.
Oh, close
yeah,
enough.
I get Ron Swanson a lot. I used to get Mary Swanson from Dumb and Dumber all the time. So 90s babies, like anybody that grew up in the 90s would do the like, they'd be like, oh, Mary Swanson was a character in that. And then there was the whole like Samsonite. They're like, oh, her last name, Swimmy Swami Samsonite. I was way off. So I used to get that a lot too. Or the Frozen Dinner franchise. So those are easy ways to remember my last name.
Okay, cool, cool. So basically you voiced all my favorite shows.
Really?
Yes. From what was it? Squidbillies.
Yes.
Aqua Teen.
Yes.
You know, Aqua Teen was like the favorite when I was in high school, and it came one night, and I was like, "What's this show? This is totally random, and it is freaking hilarious. Loved it." And you did. I didn't know it was you. You did Sara.
Yeah.
From Toonami.
Yeah, I've been doing Sara for the last 5 years. So I wasn't like a lot of people are like, oh, have you been doing it since back in the day? I was like, no, I was like a baby teen at that time. Like I was not doing Sara in like the 90s. No. So no, I've just been doing it since 2013. So they brought back Toonami in 2012 as a joke for April Fools, and it was so successful and people connected to it so much they did it for real. And then the year later they had enough animation money to bring back Sara. So that's how that worked. And then I didn't even know that was what was happening when it happened. They were like, can you read this? I didn't know what it was. And I was just like, oh, it's a scratch. Okay, great. Read it, got out of the booth. They're like, no, read it again like this. And I was like, for scratch? That's weird. Which so scratch is like temporary video tracks or whatever. And so I just like kept reading it, and then finally like, okay, you're on air on Saturday, and I was like, what? So it was all very quick, and it's sometimes the best way when you don't like build up anticipation about it. You just kind of are like, okay, this thing I'm doing, cool, it's nice.
So is that how you got into Sara? Like, you know, just got that role for Sara?
Yeah, so I work at Adult Swim in the building, and I work at like in the William Street building, and I used to test audio on the sound booth with people a lot. So different audio engineers would be like, like the air conditioning's weird. Can you just like talk on the microphone? We just need to make sure that like we can isolate tracks. And so I would kind of always go like one further and say, okay, well I'm not just gonna like test this audio and like read some lines. I'm gonna try to make you laugh. And so I would do stuff like sing TV theme songs and just be totally weird.
Best way to be.
It's the best way to be, but that's how I got a song in the Aqua Teen movie, was because they knew somebody knew I could sing, and they're like, we need somebody, get in there, just sing these lines. And I was like, great, I'm gonna sing these lines, I'm gonna make some extra ones up. So I got a songwriting credit as well, which was like pretty sweet. So I get like a BMI kickback for that sometimes.
Nice.
Pretty exciting. So yeah, like it started out with music actually, and then the more that people know, oh, you do this weird thing, then they'll pull you in and sort of go like, okay, do you want to be this? So She Creature, I did an Aqua Teen, which I love, and Glenn's wife used to be various different women, and then finally they're like, Dana, you can do that, and it's like, yeah, I got one. So I mean, it's still like what 9-10 seasons in, and she doesn't have a name, but that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's Glenn's wife. It's fine. It's good.
Because I was thinking about Glenn's wife. I was like, wait, not Glenn's wife. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
It's not the big chick. It's not the
No,
big
that's
one.
Crystal, who Mary Kraft voices her, and she's so funny. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. I love her. She's local as well.
Nice. So with, I guess, being in Toonami and Adult Swim, the whole entire crew, is that your first gig voice acting, or when did you start voice acting?
I started voice acting with probably, I'm trying to think of my first role, if it was probably for, that's so hard because it's like I was doing musical stuff, and then I would do musical little bits for Adult Swim promos. And I'd probably say that like doing lines on Aqua Teen was my first like official voice acting role credited. I'd have to even go back and look at that. I don't know. But since then, I mean, I've definitely done a couple of different Adult Swim things. My favorite thing that I'm doing right now is actually a local podcast called Dark Ages, and it's something that spawned out of a D&D group I used to be in. So it was like my D&D friends were like, hey, we should make a podcast. And so they not only are they making a podcast, they're making this like fantasy workplace comedy audio drama that takes place in a museum, and it's so funny. Like, it's super funny. All of the characters are like fantastical characters with jobs that you would hate. So it is there's something really like lovely and funny and relatable about it, even though it's like a fantasy, it's in this fantasy world. So it's sort of like, it's half escapism and then half hyper realistic, because you're like dealing with everyday problems and relationships and then things you don't want to do at your job. And It's really fun. The 4th episode just dropped on Thursday.
So it's more like let's say like a night working at like McDonald's or something like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like, so there's like a human janitor that's been cursed to always be picking up trash. I play Malison, who is a lawyer sorceress, which means that she deals with business contracts by like using summoning circles and all that. And she's actually my hero. I love her so much. It's one of my favorite characters I've ever gotten to play. So I'm always hyping that whenever I'm here. I'm like, Dark Ages, you guys! If you're at DragonCon, you're gonna like Dark Ages. Like, it's such a good show. I really love it.
And can we where can we find it at that podcast? Actually?
So you can find it. They have a website that sort of nodes out to different things, but darkageshow.com. Their Twitter handle is @darkagesshow, and so you can kind of like follow along there. But that's where you can just subscribe to Dark Ages on iTunes, and it'll get you there. Or the Google one. I don't know the Google one. Do you know the Google one? I don't.
Google Play?
Google Play? Question mark? I don't know. Well, no. But I guess like I'm trying to think of like other weirds. I've done like commercials here and there, and it's like kind of mixtures of song and commercials. And I actually did this weird thing for the Braves. Like I had a friend that was like, "Can you do your Kesha impersonation for the Braves? I need it." And so it was on this like thing that lasted for not that long for the Braves. It was like this, do the job thing, which is like. I get it, but it was, I really liked it. I thought it was funny, but I think it was just one of those things of like maybe somebody down the line didn't get it, and that's okay. But I loved it.
So out of all the shows that you've done, I guess with Adult Swim, which one's your favorite?
Oh, that's really hard. I mean, I love doing Sara because I think that it has, it connects with so many different people. Just in the sense that like it's this classic legendary piece of pop culture to where people that were growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s are going, that was my childhood, that was me, I believe in that, I connect to this. And so those same people have grown up to be adults, and they're like, adulting is really hard, and I still need your advice, I still need Tom's advice, I still need to know what to watch, I still need to have a place that I feel like I belong. And if anything, like going to conventions like this and meeting fans, that's something that's really like rang true with me, are people's stories about how they connect with Toonami and why they watch Toonami and why they continue to watch, or why they wish to watch. It's like, oh, we're on streaming, you can watch it on streaming if you want, you don't have to have a TV, it's cool, we can figure it out. But I love it. I love getting to do Sara. I think I started to also write, I did a game review for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp that I wrote for Sara, so I could basically be making fun of myself doing, like, just playing the game. So it was fun. Yeah.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like a meta kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hey, this
We got to
TV.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is so fun.